Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Rangers Review morning briefing for Tuesday, the 13th of December. It's another absolutely Baltic one, especially down here in Warrington. I'm sure it is where you are as well, Stevie. Delighted to be joined as ever this morning by Stevie Clifford. How are we getting on?
Morning, mate. Yep. As you've seen from the group chat this morning, the pictures of walking the dog, it was a very, very cold one this morning. So it's one of those ones where you go out and the cobwebs, the spiders are looking absolutely beautiful on the garage. So that was the kind of morning it is. I think it was registered -8. So it is chilly.
Yeah, it's an absolute ice rink down here where I'm in Warrington as well. And me on the ice is not a pretty sight, I can tell you that. Let us know how cold it is where you are, folks. Someone was rubbing it in yesterday saying it was the 28 degrees in Abu Dhabi. So we don't want comments like that. Thank you very much. But we'll crack on and talk all things Rangers because that's why people are tuning in. Before we do that, folks, as always, we've got that Christmas offer on the website. You can see the little ticker below. Just £1 for 2 months worth of content. It really is a cracking deal. And there's so much on there just now. You won't be disappointed. Just head over to rangersreview.co.uk/subscribe for all the details. Vivian Miller gets in touch. -11 in the borders this morning. Wow. Hopefully you've wrapped up warm, Vivian. Stephen Gillespie says -5 in Falkirk. Alan gets in touch. Specky Cold Dog today. Yeah, absolutely, Alan. Lisa Halliday says -7 in Drumchapel. Listen, it's absolutely Baltic. Make sure you wrap up warm, folks, and take care if you're heading out there. Very slippy underfoot as well. And Darren Glasson gets in touch all the way across the pond. It's 4:30 a.m. here in Washington, D.C. So can make it in time. We can certainly do so as well. Good to have your company.
Not our fault. It's not our fault.
Not our fault. Yeah, we are awaiting one more, but it's just ourselves at the moment, myself and Stevie, and you just flashed up a mug there, a Michael Beale mug. That is absolutely sensational. Love that. It's terrific stuff. Right, let's crack on. Let's talk Rangers, Stevie. First of all, I haven't got your thoughts since Saturday's friendly win over Bayer Leverkusen. What did you make of it? Michael Beale's first match in charge, of course, not a competitive fixture. I seen him in his post-match press conference saying it was one of those that it was sort of in the way and it's all geared up for Thursday night. But it was a good test and a good run-out for a number of the lads as well. What did you make of the afternoon at Ibrox?
Yeah, it was good. Listen, watching Rangers win 3-0 against anyone is going to be enjoyable, but you're looking for early signs of promise. You're looking to see what's changed. You're looking for any subtle differences you can kind of recognise and keep an eye on. And what I did notice, and I know that Joshua covered this yesterday on the site, it was very, very condensed. It was very narrow, but you could immediately see a structure. Everybody was close to each other. The front three were very close, and Malik Tillman was very close behind them. And what I noticed was, Derek, that just a small thing, that see when they got goal kicks and stuff, the option to go long was there because they had an out ball. And quite often they were outnumbering the front players. So that was just a small thing that I noticed as well. But the structure was there. I remember pictures that you used to take, when we were away to Porto and stuff like that, and there was a beautiful Christmas tree formation. I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. That was back. It was so very well disciplined, so well thought out. But there was a lot of good things. Like there was a lot of good pressing. That was you noticed that straight away as well. And it was organised. They were caught out a couple of times. Michael Beale said there was a couple of red flags. Well, if you're looking for them to see what they were, there was a free header and somebody got in behind Tav just to put one wide in the first half. So it wasn't all plain sailing. You look at it and think 3-0, missed penalty, it would have been easy enough. They created I think probably 3 very good opportunities in the second half. McLaughlin had a save and then Tav cleared it off the line, but that probably, showed how much everyone was fighting and trying to win the ball and impress and stuff. There was a lot of decent performances. I think, spoke obviously a lot about, this is what I mean about people trying to see, the best in things. People have talked a lot about Alfredo Morelos on Saturday, Derek, and he had a pretty good 45 minutes. He won a penalty, assisted the third goal. And he looked a wee bit more sprightly. He looked a wee bit more on it. And, it was all round. It was very positive. Malik Tillman was excellent. He's the one that Joshua, I think maybe you'd even said that he'd highlighted him as being the one that everybody was most excited and promising about. So he was very good. James Sands had an excellent game. He was very, very good at the back. Won a lot of turnovers, Derek. Won a lot of 50-50s and stuff like that. Leon King played well next to him. Adam Devine at left back played very well. There was a lot of good points and a lot of good moments in the team. And all in all, very promising. Goals were good. Wee bit of, even a goal from a corner, mate. So I recognise that Leverkusen weren't up to it, as to say they've still got a bit to go. But you've still got to go and beat them. You've still got to go and apply yourself properly, and that was the most important thing. So Saturday was very promising, and then obviously the press conference afterwards. I don't know if you've seen it, Derek, but you would have heard me speak to Michael, and my surprise when he mentioned Connor Goldson coming back. I actually repeated it back to him, so that was very good. And me and Michael already have a kind of a good relationship from before, so it's always nice to speak to him. And I fully expected him when he said 2 to 4 options that he maybe was going to say that it was John Souttar, Ben Davies. I kind of expected that because we've seen wee pictures of John Souttar, and we spoke about this, I think, last week. So when he said Connor Goldson, I was massively surprised, but it just goes to show you, all of a sudden he's wanting to be back involved and maybe pushing himself on and stuff like that. So, and he genuinely wasn't supposed to be back until January time. So this is a huge, huge bonus. So, all in all, a very positive Saturday. It was quite cold, but I'm expecting Thursday night to be even colder. So as long as we get the 3 points, we'll all get on board with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And a pressing question coming in here, Stevie, directed at yourself. Neil McBain says, where can I get a Michael Beale mug? That is the question on everyone's lips, Stevie.
Right. So the story behind this, Derek, is a God's honest truth. Copeland Road Streetwear, who make them, you'll find them online and on Twitter and things like that. Copeland Road Streetwear. So a couple of years ago, I was on at the guys to make me a Michael Beale one. Right, and because I've always really loved Michael Beale, he's always kept in touch, he's always spoke to me, and he's always been really decent. So I was on at them, and we got them made, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 years ago, and we sent him a couple. So there's actually a picture of him somewhere on my phone, old phone or something, going like that, cheers with his Michael Beale mug. So it'd be interesting to see if he still has it, but you can get them from Copeland Road Streetwear. And that's what it looks like. It says Michael Beale Masterclass. So, and it's currently got a really lovely Galaxy hot chocolate in it, Derek. So
tremendous.
As you said, you've seen the pictures of me out with the dog this morning, and it was freezing. So I'm trying to warm up.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. So there you go, folks. I wanted to touch on some of the articles on the website this morning. You can see the little title we've titled this video, folks. Can Michael Beale get the best out of Kent? Josh has done a great piece on the website this morning, suggesting that he can unlock Ryan Kent. Of course, I think it's fair to say he's not been quite himself this season under Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, although I think at the end of his tenure he was still the most threatening outlet. Doesn't give up, of course, but just things weren't coming off for him this season, that's for sure. However, Ryan Kent is someone that Michael Beale knows very well ever since he was a young lad. I don't think he had his best of games on Saturday, Stevie, but do you think with the new manager coming in that we could see a little bit of a bounce from Kent going forward?
I don't know if you'll see a bounce, but what I'm looking for and what I think we'll see is more consistency from him. And he's still by far been, productive this season. He's still by far been, he never hides. So he'll never shy away. He always looks for it. He always looks to get involved. Michael Beale said something really interesting, though. And it's something that I've labelled at him before. Now, I've given Ryan Kent a wee bit of criticism this year, most notably the defeat at Parkhead. He was really, really poor. And he lost the ball a couple of times that led to goals and things. Ryan Kent tends to, when things aren't doing too well, he tends to try and do so too much, Derek. And Michael Beale said that the weekend. He says he's got to try and keep it simple and not try and do too much. And I've got a feeling that Michael Beale's message to Ryan Kent will just be simplify your game. Stop trying to overplay. The overlaps there, use the overlap. Simple passes there, use the simple pass. You don't need to go past 2 or 3 players. You just need to try and make it productive. But already on Saturday, he was getting himself more involved. One of the big things I think people will notice, and I think it's an immediate improvement, is we all of a sudden on Saturday had players in the box. That isolation that was happening to maybe Cholak or Alfredo when they were playing as a one-up isn't happening. There's 2 or 3 really close to him. 3 if you include Malik Tillman. 2 wide men are now playing really inside as 10.
Yeah.
And your fullbacks are overlapping. So it's very attacking. It's very intent on getting numbers in the box and things. And all of a sudden, Ryan Kent's got more people to hit. He's got more options. He doesn't need to try and do as much because he's not now the only person up and things like that. So he's going to need to try and use the overlap as much as we can. Now, on Saturday, Adam Devine done that really well. Now, there was a couple of times where the boy obviously knew he was right-footed, so he showed him onto his right, and he took it down and went on his left foot. Now, I think it was Ross Wilson, possibly, who said a couple of weeks ago about Adam Devine playing at both sides, and Michael Beale repeated that at the weekend. He said that through his tenure, through the youth team, Adam Devine has played both sides, so he's quite comfortable. So I think that kind of helped Ryan Kent, because when he came outside, he had Devine doing the overlap. So the message, I think, to Ryan Kent is to try and simplify his game, but try and make it more productive, try and get more numbers. And I'm positive that we get... Listen, I still think that Ryan Kent's our best player. I really do. I still think he's our most attacking threat.
Yeah.
I still believe that he's the one that's most capable. Now, he's got assets around him now. He's got, your Tillmans, your Cholaks and things that he can hit. Alfredo, hopefully he'll come back and improve his worth and things. But I still believe that Ryan Kent is the main man in our team. And it's just about sparking him again, Derek. And he's got such a good relationship with Michael Beale. As we said, he's known him since he was 15, coached him since he was that young. If anyone's going to get the best out of him, Derek, and I don't know how you feel, but if anyone's going to get him firing and the best out of him, then Michael Beale's got to have that capability, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited at seeing how he works under him. And like you, Steve, I think on his day, he's up there as the best, not only the best player for Rangers, but I think arguably the best player in Scotland as well when he's on form. He's unplayable at times, and we just hope we can get that back for the remainder of the season. I quite liked why you brought up Adam Devine there. I was wanting to touch on that. Scott Kearney says, thought Devine was a breath of fresh air. There's a piece on the website this morning, folks. I've touched on Adam's performance at the weekend and in general, how highly rated he's regarded at Rangers, and how they've got high hopes for him. That Michael Beale did say afterwards on Saturday, the academy staff have played Adam at right and left back. Sometimes having a right footer at left back means they can play inside the pitch more. John Flanagan did it well for us a few years ago. I've got a lot of trust in Adam. We've always had high hopes for him when I was here before. He's grown up a bit, just like Leon, Charlie McCann and Alex Lowry, who also showed some nice touches today. Now, we'll touch on Alex shortly. But in terms of Adam Devine, I was delighted to see him play well on Saturday, Stevie. And I think he will start at left back on Thursday. I've got no qualms about that. I'm actually quite excited at seeing how he'll get on. I think he's fully deserving of his chance there. And I think it certainly bodes well. And it's a nice touch towards the academy staff that he's so comfortable playing on the opposite flank. He doesn't look awkward or out of position in any way, shape, or form. So I think that was one of the positives on Saturday. Yeah,
it was, and this is what's confused me so far this season. When James Tavernier has so clearly been struggling at points, there's been times where Tav's physically been limping through the last 25 minutes of games. I think it was Livingston at home, possibly, where you could physically see him struggling very badly. Adam Devine's on the bench there, and I understand what James Tavernier brings to this club, but there's no reason why, hopefully, these youngsters can't start getting 10, 15 minutes at the end of games. And I think it'll really help. You've seen a freshness from Adam Devine on Saturday. Like you said, no qualms about him playing on Thursday night. I think he'll do fine. I was a wee bit worried about who was going to play at left back, but Adam done absolutely fine on Saturday. He got forward well. He won a couple of 50-50s. He slightly got caught out the first 5-10 minutes, but then very quickly he kind of rectified that. And James Sands really spoke well in the back line and kind of kept them, information and things like that. And David Penny says Devine wasn't tested. Go back and watch the first 10-15 minutes. I generally think he was. He was caught out a couple of times and he readjusted. Now, if you're thinking that he wasn't properly run at and stuff like that, I'm not so sure. The boy Vritz came on and had a few runs at him as well. So, that experience will do him well. Was it a full-out pace? Was it, properly? No. It wasn't. It was a friendly game, so I understand that. But in terms of, a first out, not a first out because it's not his debut, but in terms of a confidence builder ahead of Thursday night, I thought it was really good. And Adam did absolutely fine and clearly is a good prospect. And it's good to see there's a few of them now coming through. So, yeah, it's definitely positive.
Yeah, before we touch on the players coming through, Alan Wright says, best wishes to Borna tonight. Of course, in World Cup semi-final action. I don't think many would have predicted that when he flew out to Qatar, but Croatia taking on Argentina tonight. So I think they've got a decent chance tonight, Steve. If they can put out Brazil, I think they've got enough about them to put out Argentina.
Well, anybody that's got Luka Modric in there has got a chance. So they've got some good players, Perisic, Kramaric. They're all good players.
Goalie's good as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been excellent, especially on the penalties. A couple of really, really good saves. So it's going to be a good watch. I fancy Argentina. I tipped them in the wee family predictor, Derek, this pre-tournament. So Argentina are still looking good for me. But it could go either way. Tonight it's one of those ones. The thing about Croatia is, as it proved against Brazil, that sometimes they can look, completely down and out, but all of a sudden they find their way back in and they work their way back into the game. So they're never really out of it. They're always there and thereabouts. So interesting watch tonight. It's going to be a good one. Just like everybody else, I hope it's a really cracking game. But yes, absolutely wish Borna and Croatia all the best.
Yeah, Colin Cooper's going for Croatia on penalties. Alan says they'd be doing better if they took Cholak. I think they're doing okay at the moment, Alan. I'm sure they're doing. They're quite happy with how they're getting on. James says if it goes to penalties, it will be Croatia. Listen, it's going to be a cracking match tonight, and of course Morocco and France on Wednesday. I don't think anyone would have envisaged Morocco getting this far, but they have been the surprise package. But yes, certainly good luck to Borna and co this evening. I hope he goes all the way and comes back a World Cup winner. That would be absolutely fantastic. But let's touch on the young lad, Stevie. Alex Lowry came on Saturday as well. I thought he did well. Ian Ross says, do you think Lowry will start on Thursday? I don't think he'll start, but I think it was good to see him at the weekend. I think a lot of the majority of fans, I think it's fair to say, would like to see more of him in the first team. He's been hit by injury, of course, this season and has not really had much game time under Giovanni van Bronckhorst. But again, new manager, this might be an opportunity for him to get a foothold in this side. Do you think he's got a part to play on Thursday and going forward?
Yeah, he absolutely does. Look, I'm a huge fan of Alex Lowry. Derek, you know this. I think everybody does. I speak really highly of him. And it's up to him. He can be as good as he really wants to be. I'm so excited by him. I like watching him. And it's about kicking on now and really putting his stamp on it. And he had a great little 20 minutes on Saturday, which will do him the world of good for Michael Beale to have seen him up close and see what he's capable of. He's a ball carrier. That's what he does well. He'll get you 20, 30 yards up the field. He will look to play in between the lines. He will look to use the ball progressively. He's always forward thinking. And he plays it sharply when you need that wee zip. And what he done on Saturday a couple of times really well was he played it off Alfredo. So Alfredo would use it himself as a barrier. And he would hold it up and then flick it off. Now, he done that a couple of times from Alex Lowry playing it to him, it led to the third goal. Alex took it, I think, from just before the halfway line, played it out left, they got it back, played it into Alfredo, Arfield runs off him. So it was all really positive in that way. And Alex Lowry can shoot, he can pass, and he's forward thinking. Now, I'm not saying he's ready to start games. I'm not saying he should be banging down the door and be first team. However, he's already proved that he knows his way to goal a couple of times in the first team last season. I think he should be a player. He should be the one that's playing just behind Malik Tillman at the moment, in my opinion, where if Tillman you're getting 60, 65, 70 minutes out of, then you bring on Alex Lowry. So he's always got his head up. He's always trying to progress. Now, the game on Saturday had dipped a wee bit because there was a lot of substitutions. When he came on, it really picked up and we started to create chances and we started to go forward and things again. So if you're looking for that progression on a league game or normal game, then Alex should certainly be in Michael Beale's thoughts. Now, there has been a train of thought that he wasn't that involved before because of maybe a clash with the management team, etc. But put all that to the side now, I would hope that Michael Beale can really get the best out of him. And I'm such a fan of the boy, honestly. Yeah. He's a really nice lad. I've dealt with him a couple of times. He's a really nice boy. And, you know, I'm really, really looking forward to him getting more game time. He's excited. See, when he comes on, he excites you. You know, you're looking for him and get Alex on the ball and there's a wee buzz, you know. So, huge fan.
Yeah, absolutely. And people that are huge fans of your dog, Stevie, in the background. Teddy Bear says, Stevie, your dog is a star. She's certainly enjoying herself on the sofa back there, which is great to see, enjoying the show as well. So that's fantastic. World's Greatest DJ gets in touch. Good morning, lads. Enjoyed your chat with Professor Howison, Derek. Yeah, thanks very much for that. Yeah, had a chat with him at the weekend. He's got a book out, Brian Howison, basically charting Rangers from 98 to 2015, and he goes into great detail about the financial collapse, of course, and the reasons behind that, and it really is a worthwhile read. He's given a lecture as well on it, so he knows his stuff, Professor Brian Howison. So I do urge you to go and check it out, folks. He talks really well, so thanks for that comment. And this coming in here from Alan, did you see Josh McPake's goal? Do you think he has a future at Rangers? He's been around for a while now. Yes, I did. Absolutely fantastic for Queen's Park, where he's on loan at the moment. He's certainly one, Stevie, who came through pretty much like Alex Lowry, was highly rated a few years ago. Hasn't quite happened for him at Rangers. Spent a number of loans. I think it's about 5 or 6 loans he's had. Just off the top of my head, Dundee. He was down south at Harrogate, Morecambe and Tranmere for a time. He's now at Queen's Park. He's 21 years of age now, Josh McPake. Is that ship sailed for him, do you think? Or do you think there's a chance for him he could come back? We've not really seen much of him. I think when Gerrard first came in, we've seen little glimpses in pre-season friendlies. But apart from that, he's been out on loan much of the time.
Yeah, I don't think the ship sailed in any way from him. He's certainly getting good at match day experience, but what he needs is he needs to possibly get a bigger move and nail that move properly. Like he needs to, when he went to Dundee, he didn't really kick on, and they're probably been at the time the best move that he's had so far, and it didn't really kick on. And no disrespect to the level he's at the moment, it's really good to see him play well. But I think that if he's going to succeed, he needs a big loan where he's going to, and he starts doing that a bit more regularly. Then we can maybe see. And some players are late bloomers, but we gave him, I think, a 3-year extension at 20. So we obviously see something in him. He's obviously got something. And as I said, some players are just a wee bit later than others. You know, it's great to be 18, 19 banging on the first team door and getting that, you know, the way that some of the boys are at the moment, Alex and Adam, etc. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with getting your experience elsewhere. So it's not a no, Derek, but I would like to see him kick on a wee bit more before he gets maybe talked about a wee bit for our first team, and we'll see how it goes. You never know, though. He could come back in the summer, have a great summer under Michael Beale, and Michael Beale sees something that he likes and kick him on. It just take, you know, football's a wee bit about your luck, about the opportunities as well. If he gets that opportunity and grabs it, then he could go on to to much greater things. So no, good luck to the boy. Let's hope that he kicks on, because he's another youngster, Scottish, homegrown, etc. Great to see him doing well, and it was a cracking goal, really good run.
Yeah, and Queen's Park doing well at the moment in the Scottish Championship, third, I'm sure, in the league. So really flying high. They've really kicked on since going professional. I think that's been a really good move for them. So wish Josh and the rest of the boys there all the best for the rest of the season. If he keeps up scoring goals like that, then I'm sure it won't be too long before he's back at Ibrox knocking on the door. John Dooley gets in touch about that. He says it's so difficult for young players to break through with the expectations, Rangers. This is something that you need to factor in, isn't it? And it ties in. I did an interview recently with Nacho Novo, and he says that when he played for the club, there was good players that arrived, real good quality players, but they just couldn't handle playing for Rangers, Stevie. It's all right being a good player, but the mentality you need to have to cope with the demands and the expectation is something else, isn't it? You need to be mentally strong.
Yeah, you do. And, it's incredibly difficult to play in front of our crowd because the demands are very high. But, that's Rangers. That's why we're a big club. That's why we put demands on ourselves. And, ultimately we had a manager that won a Scottish Cup, took us to a European final and qualified for the Champions League. And a couple of months later, he's out the door because domestically it's not good enough. So demands are high for a reason, and we've got to ensure that, we're doing the very best we can for the club, etc. So, yeah, it's difficult, but normally when a youngster breaks through, because they've went through all that, then, they've got a real good chance. And at the moment, we're sitting with, I think, 4 very decent prospects coming through. When you think about Adam Devine, Alex Lowry, Leon King, Charlie McCann, there's 4 really promising players. Then possibly you've got Cole McKinnon coming into that reckoning somewhere, in the summer maybe. He's one that I think people need to keep an eye out, I think, because if you're looking at us losing, I think, potentially 3-4 centre midfielders, which we will be, I think, between now and the end of the summer, etc., then Cole McKinnon's somebody that comes right into it. So we could be sitting with 4 or 5 graduates in our first team squad, which is really healthy, really, really healthy. And these lads have shown really well so far. And obviously not seen too much of Cole McKinnon for the Rangers first team. You would have seen him play at Tynecastle and score at the end of last season, just before the finals. But he's doing really well at Thistle. He's one that Thistle fans are speaking kind of highly of. So he's one to come into it. And when you get a grounding like you get Ibrox, and then you can come through and make it in the first team, which these young boys are currently doing. Talk a lot about Leon King, Derek, getting the kind of... He's seen it now. He came through as a big promising star, and he's had a wee bit of criticism because of the way it is. That'll do him the world of good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do him the world of good. And personally, I think the criticism's been harsh, but that grounding, that experience, that difficult playing in a side that's not firing, that's struggling a wee bit, etc., that's going to do him massive, massive world of good. And we spoke to him. He was in the press on Saturday, and he's, asked him about confidence going forward and blah, blah, blah. And he speaks really well. And he'll do... Look, Leon King will just keep improving for us. And anyone that can come in and play centre-back for Rangers, there's not many. If you think about through the years, how many centre-backs have come through our youth team and went on to play the way he had.
Danny Wilson is the only one that comes to my mind.
Before Danny Wilson, maybe Stephen Presley in the early 90s.
Yeah.
So that's how difficult it is. And Leon will need time. And you put Leon next to Connor Goldson, he's going to be 100% better. So we need to give them time, and there's opportunities there, absolutely. And it does... That question's a good one. You do need thick skin and everything else, absolutely. But once you've got through that, the way Alex and the boys are at the moment, once you're past that bit, I think it holds you in great stead for what's ahead of you.
Yeah, certainly. Okay, folks, I think that'll do us here. Big thanks to Stevie, as ever, for joining us this morning. And thanks to everyone for interacting with the show. It really is greatly appreciated. And a huge thanks as well. Johnny posted a little tweet last night regarding the views on YouTube and what have you. And big thanks to you all this year. I think we've had 3.6 million views, which is quite something. So thank you to everyone for tuning in.
Derek, 3 million of them is you asking me about Ross Wilson and people are asking my response. So, no, thank you to everyone. I couldn't believe it when I seen the numbers. It's great to be a part of. So, no, that was really good.
Yeah,
stop asking about Ross Wilson though.
Yeah. The number's slightly skewed, but moreover, it's great to have you have your support, guys. Thank you very much for doing so. And if you haven't already done so, you can see the little tag on the screen. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel for absolutely free. Won't cost you a penny, and you can it means you will never miss a video when we go live. And as you can see, the little ticker below, we've got that Christmas offer on just now on the website itself, where you can take advantage of all the content on there for just £1 for 2 months worth of coverage. Head over to rangersreview.co.uk/subscribe for all the details. We'll be back again tomorrow as we look ahead to the big one on Thursday. But until then, stay warm and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.